I just want to give you the space to process it, Michael said. Elena paused. I don't think I want to see anybody else. This is the love story of real Hinge couple Elena and Michael, written and read by me, Raven Smith. Listen to the free audiobook now.
Hey friends, Olivia from Ollie. Between new routines and the ultimate group project known as parenting, you need science-backed solutions that work with your life. That's where Ollie comes in. Start your mornings off right with multis made to support nutrition and immune health. Choose from our lineup of gut-supporting probiotics, and we've got occasional sleep support to help the whole fam chase their big dreams. Head back to class with the #1 gummy supplement brand. Stock up on ollie.com today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Dr. Raj.
Dr. Raj Dasgupta.
The most interesting pulmonologist in the world.
Welcome to the Dr. Raj Podcast, a show all about empowering knowledge, addressing difficult topics, raising awareness, and being positive. Dr. Raj is a quadruple board-certified physician, associate professor of clinical medicine, and the associate program director of internal medicine residency. He was a co-host on the TNT series Chasing the Cure with Ann Curry, as well as a regular on the TV show The Doctors. And now, here's our show.
Hi, and welcome to the Dr. Raj Podcast. And what is this a podcast of? A podcast of happiness and wellness, of great people, of amazing stories. And today we are in for a major treat. My guest is Shannon Fernando-Rubera, who is a global humanitarian, nurse practitioner, TEDx speaker, and founder and CEO of Alabaster International. This is an organization advancing community-led solutions of the world's most remote, underserved, and conflict-affected regions. She is known for doing what few are willing to do, which is going to where others won't. From rural villages in East Africa to disaster zones in war-affected areas, Shannon leads efforts on the front lines where access to healthcare, nutrition, education, and economic opportunity are severely limited. Her work is hands-on, delivering mobile and field-based medical care while working side by side with communities to co-build systems across health, food sovereignty, women's entrepreneurship, and education, carried forward by those they serve. Wow, that is just amazing. And with that being said, Shannon, how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I didn't think a person like you existed. You just seem to be like a big, huge pot of gold made of Care Bears, because this is what everyone talks a good game. I want to help, but what you do is truly amazing. I just want to start off with that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So I want to ask, I love that you have a medical background. So how did you choose the path of a nurse practitioner? And do you miss practicing it now that you are so much more?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be in healthcare since I was a child. It's what my parents told me. And so it's just been a passion of mine since childhood, really. And nurse practitioner in particular actually came out of a rejection. I initially applied to medical school, did not get in. And in the midst of that, decided to go to Africa, Kenya in specifically. And I lived amongst women there. I worked with a grassroots organization on the ground there and fell in love with Africa, the work there, and then really felt called to come back and actually pursue nursing, especially because of how hands-on it is from the very beginning of the profession, even during school. Nursing school is very hands-on. And so that's how I ended up going into the nursing route. And it served me so well. A shout out to all nurses, across the world. They are truly heroes. Yeah.
Oh, they are. They are. And I would say we, the doctor community, really missed out. You just have this wonderful smile and a positive attitude. But you know what? Yay for the nurse practitioners who I just love working with so much. Yeah. They stole you from us. They stole.
Well, and the great thing about the work that I do, which I actually love, is I am still frontline with patients.
Okay.
So although I'm leading the organization, I still work with patients on the ground when I'm in Africa and South Asia. So I'm really grateful because actually that's what keeps me grounded and keeps me sustained in the work. So yes, I'm still frontline patient care, although not as much as I'd like because of all the other things I do. Yes.
So let's talk about, now that you have all this clinical experience, how does that shape the way you think about hunger, nutrition, long-term health?
Yeah, I think for me, one thing that I've realized is healthcare is not just curing an illness, treating a disease, giving medication, referring to higher level of care. It's looking at the context of which this condition for this patient exists. So looking at what are they eating, what are they exposed to in the elements, things like that, and really being holistic about it. So not just something we talk about, but actually taking the time to look at the holistic pieces that are contributing to that patient's presentations, if we are going to go real clinical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's been a big lesson for me, because that's when we started looking at, oh, well, actually, one of the foundations of a lot of these medical conditions that patients are coming to us with had to do with nutrition and access to clean water. And so we started to not only look at what is in front of us, but also what is around us that's contributing
Yeah.
to that.
You know, in a nice way, you just like summarized what I do a lot, which is that first level. You know what I mean? There's a
Mm,
problem. How do I solve it in the hospital? But you're right. Taking it to the root cause
mm,
is obviously the right answer, but hard to do.
yes, for
So
sure.
I'm going to parlay that statement with your next question, which is, many people, including myself, when, I think about hunger, I think it's more of a humanitarian thing, rather than, hey, me in the hospital, a healthcare issue. How do you see that relationship between the two, being who you are?
The relationship between hunger and health.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say one thing that I'm realizing is that hunger drives people's behavior, right? Because if you're a hungry person, whether you're a child or an adult, that will drive what you're doing day to day to enable yourself to get food, what you actually put into your body, whether that's a wild fruit that's the only thing accessible to you, or meat, or whatever it may be. So that the hunger becomes the driving force behind people's behavior, their decisions, what they put in their bodies, what they can't put in their bodies, which then also leads to the different conditions that we see on the ground from a healthcare standpoint. So I would say that connection has been important, because even when we first went to Kenya, we came with this medical camp with all these medications and bells and whistles. And I remember the first patient we saw, she was a leader of the group there that we were working with. And she said, "Thank you for this, but we don't actually need medicines. We need food." And it was this incredible realization of, oh,
Yep.
okay, like we need to be looking at what are people actually facing and driving what the root cause might be.
So, speaking about food and things they need, we're going to talk about something called Enset. Did I say it correctly?
Yes,
Did
you did.
I never even knew what Enset was. So, can you actually tell my listeners what it is, and why do you believe it has the potential to transform food security in parts of Africa?
Yeah, I love talking about Enset. It is an indigenous crop to Ethiopia. It is a banana-like crop, actually, and it's a
Okay.
staple food for over 20 million Ethiopians, particularly in the southern part of Ethiopia. And it's why it's so remarkable. It's drought tolerant, highly nutritious, and it's perennial. So we like to call it a living refrigerator, where you can kind of go to it any time of the year and obtain food. And it's actually not the fruit like a banana tree that's eaten. It's the bark of the tree called the pseudostem that's actually
Okay.
shaved into a pulp and then used for food. And it's exclusively farmed by women, which we love.
Oh,
Alabaster is about indigenous women.
okay.
And so we love that they really own and cultivate this crop. And we came across it. Again, it's not something we discovered by any means. It's been farmed for
Sure.
generations by Ethiopian farmers. And there's Ethiopian researchers who've been championing this crop, particularly Women's University, which is our partner on the ground.
Okay.
And we realized that this crop could not only be an answer to food security within Ethiopia, but because of its climate resilience, can actually potentially be a food for countries outside of Ethiopia. And
Oh,
actually, there had been about a decade of research that we hadn't conducted, that other amazing scientists had conducted throughout the UK and others, that confirmed that yes, this crop is so prolific in that way. And so we started asking questions of, as we are on the ground in Ethiopia, hey, what would it take for neighbor to share this crop with a neighbor, particularly Kenya, which where we were working at the time mainly. that just began this process of working together between Kenya and Ethiopia to share the crop for the first time, which happened in 2023.
Oh man, you like are reading my mind. You go right to my next question
Oh,
on the end. I love it. So, before I give you that question, but so if I think we're gonna team up one day, if Enset will ever make a great ice cream flavor, let me know.
love it.
We're gonna market this to like Candles or Baskin Robbins or something. We're gonna make a lot off this,
Love
and
it.
all
Yes.
the proceeds will go back to your.
I was going to say back to Ethiopia.
Back
Yes.
to Ethiopia.
Yes, exactly.
But okay, with that being said, let's talk about this successful harvest of Enset that you had between Kenya and Ethiopia. Why is this milestone so significant? And what did it take to make this happen? Was it hard or?
Definitely not easy. And it took a village, really. I mean, it was
Okay.
not just me. I mean, it was the amazing partners in Kenya, Girl Child Network being the main one. And like I said, Arborman's University and the Ethiopian Biodiversity Institute, they were the government entity that really led the charge and showed us how to do this in the most legal and ethical way to ensure that the farmers benefited ultimately from this transfer and this collaboration between the two nations. And so it was actually ended up being a 2-year process of working together between the two, coming together to put the agreement together and then making sure we're following the laws of both countries and ensuring mutual benefits, because we didn't want to just extract this crop from Ethiopia and take it into Kenya if there wasn't benefits given back to farmers in Ethiopia. And we didn't also want to introduce a new crop to Kenya and then feel like farmers are being pushed to adopt something new, because that's also counterproductive and not in line with true community development. And so it's really looking at all of those factors. And then after we planted the first Enset in the ground in 2023, and then just earlier this year in July, we were harvested the first ever Enset in Kenya in partnership with Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. So really exciting. Yeah. Really great.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, when you say we on your side, you're referring to Alabaster, International. My question is, where did you come up with that name? You know what I mean? What is Alabaster and how does it represent you?
Yeah. So this was in 2012 that I started Alabaster, and the name itself comes from a story in the Bible, in the book of Luke. And it's a woman actually that comes to Jesus holding this alabaster jar, and it's full of perfume. And it's said to be her most prized possession. And she breaks that jar on the feet of Jesus in an act of worship. But she does this in front of a whole group of men who essentially say that she doesn't belong there. But she courageously comes before Jesus to break this jar on his feet in an act of thanksgiving. And Jesus recognizes this woman. And so it's this idea that the way that a woman in that story was centered and seen and valued. And B, for me, I'm a Christian by faith. And so for me, starting Alabaster was my act of worship to God. And so it's very personal for me. And those values really lead and guide our organization.
I love it. Of course, I did a little Wikipedia before I asked you that question. So if you threw something back at me, I'll know. I mean, a couple of the words that came up for Alabaster was purity, to surrender. I mean, all those really nice words to show that you're sacrificing for others. You know what I mean? Yeah. And on a side note, for those who don't know the geography that well, correct me if I'm wrong, you do a lot of your work in sub-Saharan Africa, right?
Correct.
I mean, from purely medical, the folks down there just have so many mosquitoes and parasites and bugs and, things that, we don't get to hear or see too much in the United States. Thank God. You know what I mean? So it's really nice that you go down there and do stuff for people. I just think of just one-dimensional healthcare. I'm so nice. They go through a lot, and I don't think we really fully appreciate it.
Yeah,
but let me ask you about bringing people together. Oh, you're welcome. You brought together some governments, researchers, farmers, local communities around that shared goal that we talk about. So what did you learn about creating lasting change through collaboration?
I would say that the main thing I've learned is that communities have to be at the center. So they have to be part of the conversation from the very beginning. They have to be there when we're discussing the needs and what assets and strengths are already on the ground. They need to be there when we're designing the actual program and facilitating the agreements. So to ensure that their agendas and ultimately their needs are represented by them, and continued feedback. The gift of feedback from communities is so critical, so that we're constantly adapting to the ever-changing environments that they are facing on the ground.
Yeah.
So I would say that's been the main thing I've learned, is that communities cannot be an afterthought, and they are not just beneficiaries. They are the architects. They are the decision makers in these programs. And so that's been an important lesson, hard one, because it does take more time to make sure we're being inclusive and centering on communities, because we're not just talking about communities that are accessible all the time, right? We're talking about rural, remote communities that take time. There's cultural differences, language barriers. And so, but it's been such a sacred part of the work to ensure that we are really, truly community-led.
I want to date with rules, Kati says. Rules? Rucka asks. This is the love story of real hinge couple Kati and Rucka. Written and read by me, Nicola Dinan. Listen to the free audiobook now.
Hey friends, Olivia from Ollie. Between new routines and the ultimate group project known as parenting, you need science-backed solutions that work with your life. That's where Ollie comes in. Start your mornings off right with multis made to support nutrition and immune health. Choose from our lineup of gut-supporting probiotics, and we've got occasional sleep support to help the whole fam chase their big dreams. Head back to class with the #1 gummy supplement brand. Stock up on ollie.com today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Man, I'm going to throw in another question there, because you're just on your A game today. So, I mean, how did you choose to do these amazing things in sub-Saharan Africa? Why Ethiopia and Kenya? I mean, India could have used a little help,
Yes.
There's places in South America that could use some help. I mean, so how did you pick these countries?
Yeah, great question. I'm actually Sri Lankan. I was born there. So a lot of people ask me, like, why not Sri Lanka? Which, interestingly, we just started doing work in Sri Lanka recently, which I'm excited about. But particularly Africa, because when I lived there, when I first got rejected for medical school in Kenya, fell in love with Kenya. So we actually were in Kenya for a very long time only.
Okay.
And then when we started looking into Enset and connecting with researchers in Ethiopia, expanded into Ethiopia. So that was really pretty organically, because we were looking for an answer to hunger as we were seeing all of this impact on the ground. And then our partner in Kenya connected us to an amazing partner in South Sudan. So that's why we also work in South Sudan. So it's really this just word of mouth, like a family ties sort of thing that we've been able to expand. But we really stuck around East Africa because we've just had these connections. And honestly, those connections are really quite important, because it ensures you have integrity and trust with your partners, because they come vetted. There's like this organic vetting that takes place so that we're sure that when we're working with the partner on the ground, that they are the right fit. And then there's accountability and transparency. Yeah.
So to get these great relationships, I mean, you got to physically go there quite a bit.
Correct. Yeah.
How often are you actually in Africa? And are you ever back here hanging out with me in the States anymore?
Yeah, we're there probably every 3 to 4 months now. So
good for you. Wow.
It's quite a bit. So I would say we're really like here half time and there half time. And we're planning to actually make a more permanent change and live closer to countries that we're working in the near future. So again, just proximity is key.
Of course,
that's a value for us. And so we definitely want to move in that direction. But we are there quite often.
So, in my dream, on my bucket list, I'm going to go to some kind of safari down there one day.
Yeah.
So my question is, you've been there quite a bit. Have you ever got bit by the bad bug, and did you ever get some like dengue fever or like malaria? What was the worst thing you got over there?
Honestly, thank God. We've been quite healthy. I've been healthy since we've been going. It's been such a gift, and we're really grateful. I think probably the worst thing I've faced is, like a stomach, like a food poisoning or a stomach early on, when I was getting used to some of the different foods and spices and things. But other than that, all of our teams actually have been quite healthy. So
So
really grateful.
do you take like the malaria prophylaxis
Yes,
every
of
time you
course. We
go
make
there and all
sure
that?
we're
Okay.
vaccination, all the recommended vaccinations and
Yeah.
prophylaxis.
Do you
Yeah.
get the malaria vaccine by any chance?
So there, it's not in where we work currently. It's not yet available
Okay.
widespread. It's only in targeted communities, and
Gotcha.
so we're hoping we'll get access to it so we can give it to patients that we are committed to on the ground. Yeah,
Totally. I mean, it's I hate to say it, but many people in the States don't even know there's a malaria vaccine got
I
approved.
know.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
So, anyways, let's go back. See, I told you, you just tempt me to go off script all the time. You know what I mean? So let's go back to you. Okay. You've been recognized internationally for your work in food security, community-led innovation. So we're going to take a look back. So I want to just know what really surprised you about this journey you've had so far.
I would say what surprised me the most is that bravery breeds new bravery. So, and what I mean by that is there have been times where we've really had to come to face with danger because as you mentioned, you know, we work in remote areas in conflict zones, and oftentimes we have to make a choice of like, well, there's a great risk here,
Yeah.
and are we going to actually take that risk because we made a commitment to communities, right? And I would say I'm always surprised by like our willingness, and not just me, our all of our teams that go with us on the ground, to do the harder thing, to be brave in the face of this, whether it's life threatening or danger, whatever it may be, and being able to face that. And then what I love and what's been surprising for me is that then is like, oh, okay, we were brave enough for that. And now we can do the next brave thing that might require even more courage and more faith. And so it's been in this incredible journey where sometimes you're like, I don't think I could do that. And you don't actually realize what you can do until you actually do it. And then you realize, oh, okay, especially when we're together and we're in it together, and we have this commitment and vision for what we want to accomplish with communities, we do have the courage to keep going and to do the next harder thing. And so that's what I mean by bravery begets more bravery. It's this idea that it's compounding,
Yeah.
because as we face and more our willingness to sacrifice and risk for the sake of the mission.
No, and that is such a pure statement. So this makes me ask you this question. I'm sure many of your friends, family, colleagues always ask what you do. I'm sure they get a little inquisitive because it's a great thing that you're doing. Do you find it many people will just say in passing, hey, sign me up, get me in, volunteer, and when push comes to shove, is it easy to get them to go work with you and help these things, or is it hard? You know what I mean? And people are scared, and people don't have the bravery. What do you feel?
Honestly, we've been really blessed with when
Mhm.
people hear about our work,
Yeah.
and when they express interest, we're really upfront. And so we have like an orientation kind of discovery call, if you will,
Uh-huh.
where we're really clear about what folks would be exposed to, the
Yeah.
elements, the different risks that will come up, things that we are not certain that may come up, right? That just the level of uncertainty when you're
Yeah.
on the ground, excuse me, that you will face. And so I would say that it's been really great because people are honest. They're like, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for being upfront, but that I don't think that I'm the right fit. And
Yeah.
that's great. We love
Yeah.
that. And then there are other people who are like, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want. Sign me up. Where do I sign the waiver? What's next? And so we've just had a mix, and we've never had a problem finding the right people and the right amount of people to go on our
Wow.
trips. And so that's been such a gift, really, because we can't do this work alone. We need people to
Yeah.
come alongside. And it's been really wonderful because the people that do come, they
Yeah.
give so sacrificially. And of course, by nature of this work, they receive so much in return from
Yeah.
communities. And there's just a beautiful, a symbiotic relationship, so to speak, that happens when we're on the ground. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the caliber of people that come on our trips, really grateful for their service.
So how big is Alabaster International? I mean, now I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always like to say we're small but mighty. So there's 10 of us total across
Okay.
the regions that we work
Okay.
in that are, doing the
Yeah.
work full time.
Wow.
And so each country has its own group of staff,
Okay.
ranging from 1 to 4
Okay.
staff members that are
Yeah.
dedicated to our programs on the ground. And we work with a local NGO. So we co-supervise and co-hire essentially the staff. So that's how it works, so that we're not trying to reinvent the wheel by building our own offices and paying all that overhead. So that way, when contributions come in or grant funding comes in to us, it's going directly to running programs. It's not going into a ton of overhead. So that's just the model we've adopted over the years. And so, 10 of us on the ground. And then, of course, that doesn't count all of the community elders and leaders and liaisons that also support the work. So,
And you can't even tell. So I was stalking you a little bit before you came here, and you have stuff on YouTube and some videos. I mean, if you told me you guys were hundreds plus, I would have believed it because of all the different pictures. And I think all of us, especially, I guess most of us in healthcare, you had a shot with you where you have all the women behind you, and they're just, it was a very indigenous picture. And I think there's always a part of me that I would take down any certificate to have that pure shot that helps someone. But it's the effort. It doesn't happen overnight. You earn that picture, and that's how I view you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm grateful that the women give me permission, to enter into their lives and into their community and get to know them. It's truly such a beautiful thing.
No, I dig that that women are number one, because even here in the States, when I give lectures, we do a poor job diagnosing coronary artery disease in women, COPD, sleep, you name it, and it's really nice that your goal and quest is to put women in the forefront, especially in these countries where they get overlooked.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep. So, hey, let me ask you the last question. All right. So we're going to ask in the future questions. So when you look ahead, what gives you the greatest hope for the future of global health and food security, and what role can each of us, all my listeners, anyone out there, can play in creating lasting change?
I would say the thing that gives me the most hope is female smallholder farmers.
Okay.
And so women farmers, they are responsible for over 60% of our production of food across the world. And more, we've seen this trend of women farmers being given more support, more attention, given more resources to really continue to cultivate, particularly indigenous crops. So I would say the combination of female farmers and indigenous crops is going to change the face of food security and the fight against global hunger. Because there are so many crops out there throughout the world, but particularly in Africa, that we just don't know about or not given enough attention or research. But the women who are cultivating them and farming them, they know, they are aware. And so it's about the sacrifice and also the willingness to go to them, ask permission, and learn, Cohen as learners, to understand what are they cultivating, what are they feeding their families, and how can we capacity build and scale, and also learn from them so we can, with permission, utilize those in new regions, right? And so I would say that's what gives me the most hope. And it's what I talked about in my TED talk as well, was really this idea of the women farmer. Actually, the UN has called 2026 the International Year of the Women Farmer. And so we're really excited about, what we can continue to do to really support female farmers on the ground. And I would say in terms of getting involved, I mean, we love folks to learn more about our work. Follow us on Instagram, Alabaster_International. Come to our website, alabasterinternational.org. You can sign up for our newsletter. And of course, we love folks to consider giving to us as well. There's a donate page on the website. And we have this incredible gala coming up on September 12th in Costa Mesa, California. And so really we have about 30 tickets left. And so we'd love for any folks listening who would love to come to go to our website. There's all the information there as well about our gala.
Oh, Shannon, I truly mean this. I'm looking at you through my Zoom. You're beautiful on the outside and on the inside. And everyone, all my listeners, all my healthcare professionals, even if you're not a healthcare professional, you should actually go to her website, try to donate if you can. I know it's not easy, but she truly is what she says, which is an honest person trying to help people out to do better in life and just, have the opportunities that we have here. So Alabaster International is awesome. One day we're going to start our ice cream company for Enset.
Sure.
Okay. And, Shannon, thank you for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
All right, everyone. I hope you loved this episode and stay tuned in a few weeks for more Dr. Raj podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Dr. Raj podcast. If you enjoy the show, then please make sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app and leave a rating while you're there. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. This has been a production of MedPrep to Go, and you can learn more at medprep2go.com. Hey everyone, Chris here from MedPrep to Go, and I want to take a quick break to announce that our first course is now live. Comprehensive Endocrinology is a video series with Dr. Raj Dasgupta that features 9 hours of content in 8 modules. This course is useful for learning endocrinology for internal medicine, family medicine, USMLE Step 3, and COMLEX Level 3. And this content is exclusive to the video series and won't be available on any of our podcasts. Keeping with our philosophy of making medical education affordable and accessible, this course is available for just $10 a month or $20 for a year. So check it out now and start learning at medprep2go.com. And stay tuned for more courses coming later this year.